Oh no.
Oh my god.
Oh no. Oh!
Jesus Christ.
You want me? Come on. Come and get me. Come and get me. Right here. Right here. Come and get me.
Oh.
Ah! Physics. Don't you just love it? The mindless dregs. What do I call these guys? The dregs. Come on, dregs. Let's move. So yeah, more audio issues, so we had to restart the recording. Yeah, I know. It's a Renegades video. When are there not issues? Yeah, I know. It's part of it. I don't know what else to do about it. Shit happens. But we're watching more Mr. Ballin, and instead of watching top 3 photos with disturbing backstories, we're now watching top 3 videos with disturbing backstories. And this is part 1 of that series.
I know what we could do about it.
What's that?
We could literally be like, we're starting up a fucking spaceship flight, you know? We could have a checklist.
Yeah.
And I could read it off every time and just be like, all right, headphones, check.
Check.
And it's like, video capture working.
Check.
Or video capture on the screen working.
Oh.
Check.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, audio software active.
Check.
And then like audio coming through to OBS. Check. All right. Begin recording.
Well, we're already recording.
Make sure recording is recording. Check. Like basically.
Yeah. We could do a checklist and stuff like that. I think it'd be pretty. It would be, and I think it would really like just prevent problems from jumping up in the future if we did that as a regular thing. Still though,
and I still kind of just have to keep an eye like on. Like I usually glance over just to remind you, like to make sure you brought the footage up on the screen, but I forget sometimes too.
Yeah.
Sometimes we both forget, and it's just.
And then I have to edit it. And then I have to edit it in post, which I used to do anyway, but it just eats up so much time. Yeah. And yeah.
So you have to go back and record the footage to put in post. So.
Well, no, I actually have a thing where I can go and like grab the video off of YouTube.
Well, yeah.
I've got that, which I use that
when it's during a show, though. Sometimes it's not easy.
Well, yeah, that's true. When it's during like an anime reaction or like a show reaction, anything like that, it is
half the time that ends up being when it's not on.
Yeah. And now that we've got the headphones,
I'll download the anime for the week and just start getting ready to record it. And I'm like, wait. And then I started scrubbing through and I'm like, yeah, man, there wasn't any footage on the screen for like half or more of the episode.
And I'm just like, shit. Fuck. Okay, I'll get right to it. And then I edit it and I send it to him immediately. And then he cranks it out really fast. And then I'm able to post it. That's how shit goes, y'all. This is unfortunately... You have humans operating this shit show of a channel.
It's more of an art than a science.
Yes, yes. In which if it were a science and I could just like put an AI in charge of editing our videos, gladly, because it would make less mistakes. It would always be on time, and it would remember to edit and put stuff in. Much unlike, or very much unlike post-production Nate, who forgets quite a bit. Anyway, we got the Mr. Ballin video queued up here. Let's see what videos he's gonna dredge up. Here we go.
Hey, I'm going to share with you 3...
God son of a...
Audio coming through headphones.
Coming through the headphones.
Check.
Check.
Progressively more disturbing stories, and at the end of each of them, I'm going to share with you the video that is famously associated with them. But before I get into today's stories, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right channel, because that's all I do, and I upload 3, 4, even 5 times every week. So if that's of interest to you, please give the like button a wedgie, and then also subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss my weekly uploads. All right, let's get into it.
I just wedgie.
A simple bit of aggressiveness towards the like button this time.
Yeah.
Just a classic wedgie.
Wedgies or Mervins. You ever gotten a Mervin before? A Mervin is when they do it instead of in the back, they do it in the front.
Oh, that's fucked up.
I know. I've been given a Mervin. That was not good. Because all of a sudden it's just like
everything reminds me.
Oh,
of
Jesus!
freaking wedgies they're talking about. It's like, I'll give you a wedgie so hard your asshole will rip in half. It's like, hey, what's up? It's like, Matt, can an asshole rip in half? Oh, like tissue paper.
Jesus. I remember the one I heard is like, I'm gonna give you a wedgie so bad you're gonna taste your jockstrap. It's like, God, oh.
I don't like that at all. Ugh. That's gross.
In July of 2016, a woman living in Chicago, Illinois, named
How did you
Jordan
find
Brock
out about my nocturnal activities, Mr. Bolland?
opened her eyes and realized she had fallen asleep on the couch the night before. She looked up and the TV was still on, and then she looked down at the other section of the couch and her boyfriend Matt was also asleep on the couch. As much as she wanted to keep sleeping alongside her boyfriend, she had work that day, so she stood up, turned the TV off, and made her way upstairs to get ready. As soon as she got upstairs, the first thing she did is go into her bedroom and get her purse that she left on the foot of her bed. But when she got in the room, her purse wasn't there. So she leaves her bedroom and she starts searching all the rooms upstairs, and she can't find her purse. And she's thinking to herself,
oh, no.
I'm certain I had it the night before. I remember rifling through my purse before going downstairs and starting to fold laundry before ultimately falling asleep on the couch. So after spending about 15 minutes looking for the purse unsuccessfully, and now she's starting to stress because she's going to be late for work because she can't find her purse, she goes downstairs and she wakes Matt up and says, hey, I gotta find my purse. I thought I left it upstairs. Apparently I didn't. Can you help me look for it? Matt rolls over. He doesn't really want to get up because he's pretty tired and he doesn't have work, so he doesn't want to wake up right now. And he says, well, are you sure you didn't leave it at the restaurant last night? I mean, if you already looked, it's probably not here. You want to just give him a call and see if you left it there? Jordan was immediately really annoyed by his reaction because she just wanted him to stand up and help her look for the purse because she had work and he could just go back to sleep. And so it started this argument between the two of them where Matt just wanted her to call the restaurant because he was convinced she had it there, and Jordan was like, no, I know I had my purse. I'm positive I had it last night before I fell asleep on the couch with you. So their argument begins to escalate a little bit, and that's when Jordan remembers that they had recently installed a Nest camera downstairs to monitor their dogs whenever they were gone. And she thought, we can just look at the footage on the Nest camera, we can see me walking into the apartment, and I will either have or not have my purse in my hand. And so Jordan opens up her app and she calls Matt over, and they go back to the night before, right before they left for the restaurant. She's got her purse in hand, they leave the front door, and then several hours go by and they come back in, and very clearly Jordan has her purse in her hand. And Jordan turns to Matt and says, told you so. And Matt's like, okay, fine, let me help you look. And as they're about to put the app down, she realizes on the Nest camera timeline that motion was detected at 3:30 in the morning when they were both clearly asleep on the couch. And so she calls Matt back over and says, here, look, there's motion detected at 3:30 in the morning, and they hit play. After the couple had fallen asleep on the couch with the TV on, a hooded figure emerges from their upstairs hallway and stands at the top of the stairs and just watches the two of them sleep. Before he left, he stole her purse along with a couple of other things from their apartment. And somehow this guy has never been caught, and he's been given the nickname Creeper Ghost.
Ugh. Fuck that.
Dude, imagine that, like, it took me a second to notice him at the top here.
I noticed him like right away.
Because I was just like,
well, I looked at the couch at first,
here.
and then as my eyes went up the stairs, I saw him immediately at the top of the stairs. I'm like, oh,
I was
shit.
scanning. Here's where I started scanning. I started scanning here, looking at the couch, like, oh, this is where they were asleep. I was like, is there anything back here in this dark corner? Okay, anything here in the kitchen? Let's go upstairs. What the fuck? That's how it was for me. But damn, dude. I'd scared the shit out of me if I saw that on one of our like in-home cameras. Also, nice surround sound setup, y'all.
He stole her purse along with a couple of other things from their apartment.
Also, if he's up there at the top, like, and they didn't see him come up the stairs or anything, that means he was in the house like the whole time they had been home.
Yeah, that's.
He must have gotten in before, like while they were out or something.
He probably broke in like one of the windows upstairs or something, or I don't know. That's terrifying.
Never been caught, and he's been given the nickname Creeper Ghost.
Damn.
Edna Cintron was born on October 10th, 1954 in Puerto Rico, and she was brought to New York by her mother when she was about 5 years old. Edna's family had no money. Her mother, who supported her, was a clerical worker at the New York City Board of Education, where she would bring 2 boiled eggs to work every day so that she wouldn't have to pay for lunch. Edna's family lived in Lower Manhattan on Delancey Street, a neighborhood that was famous for waves of ethnic immigration. Edna had a tough childhood, but she would say she was loved and had enough. In 1987, Edna would meet her future husband, William. William had been visiting his brother at his brother's girlfriend's house in Upper Manhattan. When William walked into the kitchen, Edna was sitting there, and he was so struck with her beauty, he immediately left the room, found his brother, and said, "Who is that woman sitting in the kitchen?" And his brother would tell him that that was Edna. William went right back into the kitchen, and the two of them hit it off right away, and almost immediately they were dating. Every morning, William would leave his Brooklyn apartment and drive all the way to the north end of Manhattan. He would pick up Edna and then drive her to Midtown where she worked. And then he would fight traffic to go to his job. So it was just this horrible, horrible morning commute. But he loved Edna so much, he had no problem in the world doing it. Any chance he got to be around Edna, he was happy. A couple of months after they met, Edna would move in with William in his apartment in Brooklyn, and then 2 years later they would get married. They discovered that Edna was not able to have kids of her own, and so they talked about adopting, and they were really excited about it, but they kept pushing it off for financial reasons. Like a lot of other couples in their neighborhood, they both had to work multiple jobs in order to make ends meet. Edna worked Monday through Friday as an administrative assistant for Marsh & McLennan, which was a large insurance broker located in the World Trade Center. William was a doorman in an apartment building on the swanky Upper East Side. Monday through Friday, after he was done working as a doorman at about 3 p.m., he would go to Harlem, where he and Edna owned a small flower shop, and he would work there until 8 p.m. at night. And then over the weekends, he and Edna would work at the flower shop. For fun, they liked to drive north to Bear Mountain State Park, where they would meet up with friends and relatives for barbecues and cookouts. And anytime they had a little bit of extra money, they loved going to Atlantic City and spending a little bit of cash on the slots and then taking advantage of the free food that came with gambling. But more than anything else, William and Edna got the most enjoyment out of each other. They were madly in love and inseparable for all 14 years they were together. That even on their worst days, when they came home and things just weren't right, they would always sit down together and they would eat their favorite ice cream and watch their favorite TV show together. On September 11th, 2001, William dropped Edna off at the World Trade Center where she worked. She made her way up to the 93rd.
Damn, man.
I just knocked our remote on the floor. My bad. I got it.
There it is.
You want me to set it over here so it don't fall off?
There you go. Yeah, I'll set my phone there. But I was doing the math in my head. 1987. I'm like, okay. And then he said 14 years of marriage. I'm like, so what happened after 14? So it'd be 2001. And then I was like, this is in New York. And boom, 9/11. There's a 9/11 story that blew me away that I'll share with you all after Mr. Bond's done with this one. It's a short one, but it's actually kind of crazy.
Floor of the North Tower where Marsh & McLennan was. She took her seat at her desk and began the day like any other day. At 8:46 a.m. that morning, a plane that had been hijacked by Al-Qaeda terrorists intentionally flew into the North Tower, crashing into floors 93 through 99. Everyone on board the plane and hundreds of people inside the towers where it was struck were killed instantly. Edna survived the initial crash, but she, like everybody else who was at floor 92 and up inside the North Tower on 9/11, were all trapped. Shortly after the crash, a cameraman on the ground was filming the impact site on the side of the World Trade Center, and they inadvertently captured Edna Cintron coming to the edge, clutching onto a metal girder, and she appears to be waving as if she's hoping someone is going to come up here and save her. But of course, there was no way to get to her, and she, like so many others that were trapped inside of the Twin Towers, had to make the terrible choice of waiting for the fire to consume me or jumping out this window. We don't know what her final choice was. However, we do know she was one of the 2,976 people who lost their life during that terrorist attack.
I remember this video. I remember this.
Damn.
Damn, dude. Another one that the 9/11 story that, well, there's two. The one that everyone knows is Seth MacFarlane was going to be on American Airlines Flight 11, the first one that hit. And because he was out the night before and got a little too drunk, and also the fact that his agent gave him the wrong itinerary and gave him the wrong time of the flight, he was late. He was about 10 minutes late. He got there right as they shut the door on the gate. And he then went over to the waiting area for the next flight, which I think was at 11. And then he fell asleep, and then he woke up to everyone like shouting and screaming. And then he looked at the TV screen, and he said, and there was someone next to him, and he said, "Oh dear God, that I was supposed to be on that flight." And thus, that would have been the end of Seth MacFarlane, a.k.a. the creator of Family Guy. And then the other one was...
He gave his agent a raise.
Oh, from what I understand, he still employs that agent to this day. And
So even though his agent screwed up, his agent saved his fucking life by screwing up.
yeah, exactly. The other one that a lot of people don't know about, Anthony Perkins, a.k.a. Norman Bates from the Psycho films, passed away in 1992. His wife, who survived him, his wife lived in New York, and she got on a flight on September 11th to go and fly out to L.A. Now, some people would wonder, hey, why was she flying out on September 11th to fly to L.A. out of New York? Well, it's because Anthony Perkins was buried in Los Angeles, and his death was September 12th, 1992. So, she was going there to visit on the anniversary of his death, and she was one of the unfortunate people who was on American Airlines Flight 11 as well. And, yeah, that one, a lot of people don't know about that one, that Anthony Perkins' wife was on her way to pay respects again, and unfortunately, fate was not on her side.
On September 22nd, 2006, 16-year-old Cassie Jo Stoddart was house-sitting for her aunt and uncle. Cassie was very responsible, and so her aunt and uncle didn't just trust her to house-sit, they also regularly asked her to babysit their son. During this particular house-sitting weekend, Casey had invited her boyfriend, Matt Beckham, over to the residence to watch a movie with her. She had also invited two other friends named Brian Draper and Tori Adamczyk, who were classmates of her and Matt's. And while the four teens are watching this movie, Brian and Tori kind of awkwardly stand up and announce to the other two that they don't want to watch a movie on the TV, they want to go watch a movie in the movie theater, and they promptly leave. Cassie and Matt thought it was a little bit odd that they would come over here specifically to watch a movie with them, only to say, we don't want to watch a movie with you guys, we want to watch it in the theater. But they didn't think much of it, and they stayed to finish the movie. Unbeknownst to Cassie and Matt, when Brian and Tori left, they actually looped around to the back of the residence and unlocked the basement door so they could quietly re-enter later. Because these boys had been planning to do something absolutely horrible to Cassie, and they planned on doing it that night. Brian and Tori idolized serial killers. When Brian and Tori happened to watch the movie Scream together, which is a popular horror movie where this masked villain sneaks into teenagers' homes and terrorizes them, they decided that that would be the way they gained infamy. They would reenact the murder scenes from the movie Scream, but in real life. Shortly after this
I've never heard of
revelation,
this.
they begin filming themselves as they come up with their big plan of how they're going to break into
hopefully
someone's
nothing
home
will
and
go
what they're going
wrong.
to do to them. And at some point on camera, they would say that they've identified their first victim, and it's going to be Cassie Jo Stoddart. They just needed to wait for a time when she was going to be alone. And when they found out she was going to be house sitting over that weekend in September for her aunt and uncle, they put their plan into motion. But when they showed up and Matt Beckham was there, Cassie's boyfriend, it kind of screwed up their plan. And so that's why Brian and Tori had stood up and said they were going to go watch a movie at the movie theater, because what they really wanted to do was come back later when Matt wasn't there anymore so they could attack Cassie. So Brian and Tori leave, and they do go to the movie theater, and they do buy tickets because they figure this is a great opportunity to create a solid alibi for themselves. But they don't stick around for the movie. They get back in their car and they drive around and film themselves excitedly talking about how great it's going to be when Cassie's all alone and they can attack her. After a couple of hours of driving around, they can't wait any longer, and they figure that Matt must be gone by now. They park at the end of the street, they get out, they put on their masks and their gloves, and they sneak around to the side of the house where there was that open door that Brian had left. They open it up and they go inside of the residence where Cassie was, and they can hear upstairs that Matt is still there. Brian and Tori at this point felt so committed that they just said, you know what, we're gonna have to kill Matt too. So straight out of a horror movie, Brian and Tori hide in the basement wearing their mask and their gloves, they've got their knives, and they start making all this noise to try to get Cassie and Matt to come downstairs to see what's making all the sound. But it doesn't work. They don't come downstairs. So the next thing they do is they go to the circuit breakers and they cut the power to the house, hoping that Matt and Cassie will come downstairs to try to turn it back on. But again, Matt and Cassie stay upstairs. And so Brian and Tori turn the power back on and just continue to make sounds in the basement in hopes that Matt or Cassie, or hopefully both, would come downstairs so they could live out this fantasy. Meanwhile, upstairs, Matt and Cassie hadn't heard any of the sounds going on in the basement, but when the power went out, Cassie got really frightened and she asked Matt would he please stay with her overnight, and so Matt calls his mom and asks if that would be okay, and she says no, but you can invite Cassie over to our house and she can stay with us, and then tomorrow morning I'd be happy to drive her back to her aunt and uncle's house. But at the time the offer was made, the lights had come back on and Cassie had kind of calmed down and said, you know what, Matt, I'm actually just fine. I'm gonna stay here. At approximately 10:30 p.m. that night, Brian and Tori could hear Matt's mom showing up, picking him up and taking him home. And they were fairly certain that Cassie was alone, but they were gonna wait for a couple minutes to make sure she really was.
She had to just gone with him.
Yep. Damn, dude.
Matt actually called Tori and said, hey, I just left Cassie's house. Can I come meet up with you guys? And Matt would later tell police that he couldn't really understand what Tori was saying. It was like he was whispering. And so Matt assumed that he must still be in the movie theater watching the movie. And Matt kind of gave up on the idea of meeting up with them and ultimately just hung up. And so after Tori got off the phone with Matt, he turned to Brian and said, she's alone. Matt just said so. Brian and Tori turned the power off once again and then walked up the stairs and slammed a closet door in hopes that it would entice her to come into the basement. But it didn't work because Cassie was horrified. She heard the slamming door, the lights are out and she's all alone, and so she's huddled up on the couch, terrified. So Brian and Tori, frustrated they can't live out their fantasy exactly the way they wanted to by attacking her in the basement, so they go upstairs, walk into the living room where Cassie is huddled on the couch, fearing for her life, and they proceed to stab their friend to death. After the murder, Brian and Tori ran from the house, got in their car, and the first thing they did is they fired up their video camera and they filmed their excited reaction to ending Cassie's life. Brian and Tori believed they had a solid alibi because they had those movie tickets, but after Cassie's body was discovered just a couple of days later, the police immediately went to Matt Beckham, her boyfriend, and started questioning him, and he immediately said, well, Brian and Tori were the only other two people that were with us that night. The police go to Brian and Tori, and under intense questioning, Brian and Tori would confess to what they had done.
Yeah, and also it's kind of hard to have an alibi when you're literally recording for evidence all of your exploits. Like all of a sudden, cops break into your house and with a warrant, and you're so confident it's just like, oh, and they're, hey, what's this video camera? Okay, we're taking this for evidence because this is literally you all confessing to murdering her and everything. I
really don't even want to see the video.
I hope those two. Well, I know that certain states don't do the death penalty. I hope these boys got strung up. I really do. I hope both of them got strung up, and like people could see like just how this is how you treat murdering pieces of shit like this. Because that's what I believe 100%.
They were convicted and given life sentences without the opportunity for parole. Here is some of the video footage that was found on their camera.
Oh my gosh.
We found our victim, and sad as it may be, She's our friend, but you know what? We all have to make sacrifices. Our first victim is going to be Cassie Stoddart. She's going to be alone in a big, dark house out in the middle of nowhere. How perfect can you get?
My God.
We know there's lots of doors. There's lots of places to hide. I locked the back doors, so it's all locked. Now we just gotta wait. I just killed Cassie. We just left her house. I saw her lifeless body just disappear. Dude, I just killed Cassie.
So that's going to do it, guys. Let me know in the comments what you thought of today's videos, and I will pin the best comment at the top of the comments section. If you enjoyed today's video and you haven't done this already, please give the like button a wedgie, and then also subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. If you want to get in touch with me, you can direct message me on Instagram or on Twitter. My username for both platforms is the same. It's JohnBallin416. I also have a ton of content over on TikTok, where my username over there is Mr. Ballin. If you have a story suggestion, please submit it to our subreddit, just called Mr. Ballin. It's linked in the description below. So whether I see you on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, or some combination, just know that I really appreciate your support. And until next time, guys, that's gonna do it. See ya.
I hope those two guys get their buttholes turned inside out on a daily. In
Oh,
prison.
I hope their assholes are literally turned into clowns' pockets. Like, yeah, like they're gonna have dudes living in there, just like nice place, mother. Yeah, walking in like Rick James before he messed up Eddie Murphy's couch. Nice place, brother. Yeah. So. Anywho,
Fuck
though,
sphincter.
yeah, this was, oh man, that first one was terrifying because that is a nightmare scenario for me.
At least they were just a thief and not a fucking murderer.
Yes, at least it was, there was nothing like truly malicious with their intent. They came there to steal. They didn't come there to kill.
Well, I still see stealing stuff as malicious.
I could see that, but
not
malice,
not malevolent, at least.
Yeah,
It's like you're still fucking somebody over if you steal their money and stuff. Like you're still like causing them problems.
And then Edna Cintron. This one was hard. There was also a 911 call video we did a long time ago where I forget the name of the guy, but it was literally his last moments before the second tower collapse, and he was like doing.
I think I've heard that before.
And he was making a call, and he basically was just like, "I don't know what floor I'm trapped on. I can't see anything. My name is this," and then all of a sudden you just hear, "Oh God!" Ah! Then the line went dead, and they put it together with They put it with an image or a video of the tower collapsing. It's just spine chilling, dude.
Man, it's terrifying.
It is. It is freaking terrifying. And then, of course, you have this one here, which
If I ever get a job in a very tall skyscraper, I'm going to keep a hang glider in my office.
There's actually talk of them potentially doing something about people who are trapped in situations like that on the sides of buildings and stuff. What they would have is basically like a grenade launcher that would have a bag inside of it. It's like a cylinder that would have a bag inside of it, and in that bag would be a chest harness and the cable that's attached to it would have a climber's rig attached to it, and thus a helicopter could basically have that, and they could basically like have instructions in there, put it on, and then the helicopter would get up high, and then the person would jump, and then the helicopter would adjust for the weight, take them over to a building top that's not in danger, and then put them on it. And that's basically...
Could they do everyone quickly enough, though, with that method is the question.
No, but, for the exercises that they've tried...
I think having, like, a cannon that you could load, like a 6-barreled, like, kind of like a T-shirt cannon type thing.
Yeah.
But like big enough to basically fit like a parachute type backpack in there. That
Well-
they could fly a helicopter around and they could aim and just kind of like fire as quickly as they could, like parachute backpacks into the top floors of a building like that.
Well,
Like might be a decent idea. That way, at least the people on the top like could parachute down or something if they had to.
base jumping like out like off the top, yes, 100%. I would. That's one thing I would tell.
That's what I'm thinking. Like if I'm in like a tall floor, like even halfway up a skyscraper like that, if I could have a hang glider just like in my office, like attached to like the ceiling, people walk in and be like, "Why do you have a hang glider? Decoration." Just in case.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden,
it's like if some shit ever goes down and I survive, then I'm detaching my hang glider from the ceiling and throwing my chair through the window and just being like, "Whee!" Just gliding down to the ground far away.
Potentially, I don't know.
I'm not trying to make light of the situation. I'm just the kind of
No.
person that's like, I wish there were like things you could do to prepare for horrible situations like that.
And
That's the best idea I can come up with is if I work in an office like that, I'm literally probably going to have a hang glider in my office if I can get away with it.
yeah, I guess
Because that's the best way I can think of to get out of something like that. What else could you do,
I don't know.
Like, you need a safe way to get to the ground. Like,
And that's-
it's
and
probably
that's
not
why
going
I
to be
would-
through the inside of the building, so I'm thinking that's the only thing I can think of.
And I would say the parachute strat on the roof, like having a helicopter basically drop off parachutes drop off 1,000 parachutes on the roof of that on the roof of both towers, and basically you could put out an emergency broadcast for everyone to hear. Just be like, attention all, like anyone in the towers. If you are above this floor here, proceed to the roof. There will be parachutes waiting for you to attempt to jump off. And basically, and that's would be high enough to where, and basically you could just say like jump as hard as you can out, like straight out. And then as you're falling, just pull it and go. And
Another thing that could potentially, you still might die, but it might give you a chance of surviving jumping out of the window, is just if you kept like in a filing cabinet or closet or something in your office, like a squirrel suit, basically.
squirrel suit would be very dangerous.
Yeah, well,
It'd be
I mean,
very,
like,
very dangerous.
You'd have to jump out towards an open, straight street and hopefully aim for water, maybe. But maybe it could slow you down enough, like, to possibly survive falling off of a
Parachutes would be the best
skyscraper.
strat, dude.
It
Parachutes
would.
would be...
If you had a parachute with your squirrel suit, the squirrel suit might give you the time to open the parachute.
Maybe, but you're stacking at that point, and if you only were able to have one, because having one in that scenario is
I would say it
already
would depend on
ridiculous
what
enough.
floor I
Having
was
two,
on,
having two is even more ridiculous. But
Yeah.
but I would say, for me, I would, if I am the building manager, if I'm the city at that point, as soon as the first one hits, evacuate both buildings, 100%.
Yeah.
Both buildings need to be evacuated. Not just one, both of them.
The second one didn't hit that far after the first one either.
Well, it was a little while.
Was it?
Yeah, because
Then how do people just stay in the second building, not fucking get out?
because the building manager basically said, this building is safe, we haven't been hit, please return to work. Let's see.
All right. Well, I hope he fucking died because of that.
Let's see. Oh, timeline. Timeline of events. There we go. Okay, so here we go. And oh dear God. View full-size chart, yes. So American Airlines 11 takes off. Okay, so yeah, it was about 17 minutes. Still.
Yeah, that would have been plenty of time, you would have thought, for them to get people at least off the higher floors of the second building.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about thousands upon thousands, and I would say the biggest.
Me personally, I like if I'm in a tower and I hear something smash the tower next to me, like the building manager can go fuck himself. I'm heading straight to the stairs and booking it to the bottom.
Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, 9:05. That's when W was informed. It was like the second grade classroom in Sarasota, Florida. Second plane has hit the tower. I remember seeing that video of him in the classroom and being told that, and the look on his face like completely changed. And yeah, that was a whole thing. But also the fact that freaking Rudy Giuliani, however you think of him now, he was on the ground and he took charge, and I think he did great work for what he did. And of course, United 93, the one plane where the people fought back. And that's, you see.
So what's the one? That's the one that took off from DC is the one that hit near the Pentagon, right?
Yeah, that's the Pentagon.
And what was 93 supposed to be doing?
93 was supposedly heading for the Constitutional Building.
Oh, okay.
For like that, yeah, and that's apparent. Well, there's no ironclad 100% like knowledge of what they were going to aim for, but in the movie United 93. They attached, it's very quick, the person who takes over the plane, the pilot seat, puts a picture of the Constitutional Building on his, on the pilot stick, on the little clipboard that's on the pilot stick. And yeah, this whole deal was just thinking back about it, and it's been 20 plus years now. It's literally been 21 years since this ordeal, and it still shocks me to this day.
Yeah.
It's still, like, being in 8th grade and seeing that happen, it sticks with me. Anyway, sorry everybody. We're going to move on from here. This was Mr. Ballin, Disturbing Videos, with our top 3 videos with Disturbing Backstories Part 1. If y'all enjoyed and you want to see more from Mr. Ballin, y'all know the deal. Hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, and also if you want to check him out, links links are always in the description, and you can click his name in the title of the video. And until then, I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
We'll see you later, everybody. Peace.